that's why I thought it was fair making those sharks worth so much, because you can offset that by going for the leopard sharks, and you could really outscore the person who's going for the big sharks, because they could catch 0 in 20. I've gone, even with my method of catching sharks, I've gone 20 minutes and caught 0 plenty of times. Now I've gone 20 minutes and caught 5 sharks. So I mean, it's risk reward. What are you willing to risk? And the same thing with the round where you get to choose your fish. You know, take time, and I'm not going to explain the strategies that you could employ there. That's for you to determine. But if you think that through, when that round comes up, depending on the points, you know, be thoughtful about your choices, because there is strategy to minimize or maximize what you or your opponent could or couldn't do based on the fish you choose.
Yes.
So let me see if Lauren sent a message. I thought she might pop in by now. Hold on, I've got to take this phone call. It's my dad. Hold on.
Okay.
Hello? Hello? Dad? Dad? Junior Mike is coming to get you. And then I'm going to call him when I'm available to come down there. And then we'll decide if he's just going to drop you back off at home, or if I'm going to come down and spend the afternoon or not. I guess it depends on how Mom is feeling and doing at that time. But okay. So he'll be over there in a little bit. Okay? And then I'll either see you later, I'll either be at the hospital later, and then you'll come home with me, or if Mom is, you know, by the time I can get there, if it seems like she's sleeping and you're just like, you know, I think she's going to sleep the rest of the afternoon, then Jim will just take you home. But we'll decide after I'm done with what I have to do this morning, okay? All right, I'll talk to you later. All right, bye. They called him and said she's doing better. What is better? Eastern time. I said yes. Just to get kind of not the start, but build the rules and join. All right. Sorry, had to. My dad gets easily confused, so my mom cared for my dad, and she was perfectly healthy, and then had this stroke. So now we went from having 0 parents to have to take care of to having 2.
Okay.
So,
yes.
Where did Thomas go?
Oh,
there he is. Okay, there he is. I see him. Sorry. So
no problem.
Lauren messaged earlier confirming the time, so I'm assuming she's going to be here. You know, maybe she's on a tight schedule and can't join till 10. But really, I just need to go over the change to the shark
lots
scores.
Of time. I have lots of time. If she is delayed, no problem. I wait.
And then I'll give you guys I'll give a rundown of each level we're going to be on here. I'll go through. It's all going to be U.S. West, because for me to use South Korea, I'd have to quit multiplayer, create a new room, and I'm just not going to do all that. So it's all going to be U.S. West. 3 freshwater, 3 saltwater. The 3 saltwater boards, I'm going to go ahead and fish along with you, not competing, like not doing the challenges you guys are doing, just to, I might as well get some leaderboard points while I'm at it. So. Oh wow! So you saw the first two new. Yeah, you saw the first two. So there are hardly any new fish. I think there might be only new epic fish, and people were complaining. Yes. So I was close to making a post on the main page saying, anybody who has, a complaint about the lack of new fish, send me your contact information and, and I'll send you a full refund for what you paid for this downloadable content.
Yes.
I mean, just Christ. Shut up. You're getting something for free.
The devs might. Yes.
So the first one, we got a handful. I think with the new one, I think these new two, it was just epics and maybe one or two fish. I don't know. So
it was one new fish, really new one new fish, and I think it's okay because the devs have much to do. Very, very much to do,
yeah.
and they please us. They cannot do or could not do a better job.
No.
I haven't expected this, and yes, it's great what they do.
No, I think since they created that Devs United game group, what I think happened is I think MirageSoft probably got purchased by a company or a group of investors or something. And I think they're now, saying you need to churn out some content fast. Right. So now I think they have somebody kind of driving them saying, hey, we expect XYZ on this timeline. And now they've got deadlines to meet from above rather than just Mark calling the shots. So now Mark has bosses or a board to, answer to.
Yes.
But, but that gives them, more money behind them. Yeah, now they've got to answer to people, but now they've got money to do what they want to do. So I think it's going to be good in the end.
Of course.
So I think it's going to be a good thing. I mean, it's probably been the glitchiest kind of launch, but also that was also timed, and I don't know if they knew, with a fairly big Oculus system update. And, anytime, I'm sure every developer worries anytime Oculus is updating the OS. And I haven't read the version 41 notes yet. I get because I'm signed up as a developer, even though I'm not a developer, but so I get the notes on the updates. Yep, I got to be a developer to do the side quest stuff. So I'm going to send Laura a message. It's 1 minute till. So I hope that something hasn't happened, and I hope this happens today.
She's practicing till the next.
Yes, she's in the very last minute. So let me send her a message. Oh, I think that's her. All right. Good morning.
Hello. Hi, Lauren.
Hello. So I'm going to go through. So Thomas had some questions specifically about the shark round. So I'm going to cover that first. And then I'm going to give a rundown of rounds 1 through 6, what boards we're going to be on, what the scoring is going to be. I've tweaked the scoring just a little bit. I've not changed any of how the rounds are going to run. The only thing that's changed is I've changed the scoring a little bit to try to keep it, to try to not let it get out of hand and make some things worth a little more points, to have a little more risk reward. So the shark round, Thomas was concerned that, a player could, really get a lot of points if they get really lucky. And I didn't want to put any strategy into anybody's minds, but the plan for that round, and I've changed the scoring a little bit, combats that with, somebody might get 15 points for a shark, but they could get 0 points. They could spend 20 minutes and get 0, and your competition could catch leopard shark after leopard shark and get 15 points worth of leopard sharks. So it's risk reward in that round. So, and then I did change it. The big sharks, so the Mako the blunt nose and the great white are not all worth 15. A blunt nose, because it's the most common on that board, is worth 10. A mako is worth 12, and the great white will be worth 15 on that one. The leopard shark is still 1 point, and the swell shark is worth 3. So for those 20 minutes, you use whatever strategy you want. So for round 1, we are going to be on U.S. Expansion 4. You're going to be fishing for the blue tilapia, and that's, the same as always. You're just fishing for the blue tilapia. Every blue tilapia you get is worth 1 point. Round 2, a little bit different in scoring. You're going to be on US 18. The only fish that are worth points are the 3 epics. The sailfish is worth 3. The rooster fish is worth 3. The bass is worth 5, because the bass is the least frequent of the 3. So sailfish 3, roosterfish 3, bass is 5. Round 3 is the sharks. I just explained that. Leopard is worth 1. Swell shark is worth 3. 10 points for a blunt nose, 12 points for a mako, 15 for a great white. Round 4 is going to be US 19. So this one is another one where you can make a lot of points, or you can, not make a lot. I guess you can lose a lot of points there. So there can be a swing. You're going to be fishing for the California scorpionfish. If you pull out of the water a kelp bass or a spotted sand bass, you will lose 5 points for each one of those that come out of the water. So you better be sure you've got to be sure you've got a California scorpionfish on the line.
Those are the worst.
This is I've planned this out very thoughtfully. Round 5. This is another risk reward. Hold on. Let me look at round 5, because I've got S3 picked. I think round 5. Round 5 is you pick your own fish. So we're gonna go to that board, and you are going to have 5 minutes to look at the Fishopedia. You can't do any test casting. You are going to pick a fish. If you catch your fish, every one of your own fish you catch is 1 point. Mm-hmm. If you choose to go for the other person's fish, you get 2 points. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Of course.
Does that make sense, Thomas?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So if you catch your competitor's fish, you catch 2. Again, depending on where the points stand, and I'm not going to put anything, I gave a little insight in how to play the shark round to your advantage or disadvantage the other person, risk reward. Think about where your points are and what a strategy you might employ on that round, because there are some strategies that you can think about to mitigate what your competition may or may not do. And then round 6 is pretty much straightforward. You get 1 point for every fish you catch. It doesn't matter what the fish is. Epic is worth 1 point. Rare is worth 1 point. If you catch one of every regular fish, non-epic or rare, so you don't have to catch an epic or rare at all to get the 15-point bonus. If you catch at least every non-epic rare fish on that board, on top of the points you score, you're going to get 15 more points. Make sense?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
So I can't remember. I think there's 14 fish. So I think there's 12 regular fish. So if you catch one of every regular fish, you're going to get 27 points, because you're going to get 1 point per fish. That's 12. Then you're going to get an additional 15 because you caught every species. Okay. And that is going to be on
13 fishes. Besides,
something like that. I can't remember the count off the top of my head, but you don't have to catch the epic or the rare.
Yes, of course.
And again, there are some strategies that you can employ there. So think about it and be thoughtful about your strategy depending on where your points are. Now, if at any point either one of you are looking at the scores and are like, I'm 55 points behind. I don't know what happened. Thomas caught, 8 sharks in 20 minutes on the shark round. At any point, either one of you at any time can choose to concede, and we will end it if you feel like it's out of hand, or if you just want to fish the whole time and just see how it all turns out. I'm more than happy to do that. So, any questions before we go to that first level?
Yes, one question.
Yep.
I accidentally hit the look through button, pushed 2 times when you explained the points for the first round for the fishes. And I did not hear every point you told.
Just the first round?
Just the first round. Yes.
The first round is just like the preliminaries. You're going to be catching the blue tilapia. You get 1 point for every blue tilapia you catch.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
So it's just like what we did in the preliminaries. I'm telling you what fish whatever fish you catch, you can reel in, no penalty. You get 1 point for every blue tilapia. Okay?
Okay. Yes.
I have
I
have a quick question.
Yep.
If we realize we don't have the fish that we're supposed to have, I forget which round it was, and we let it go, does it count?
No, you've got to bring it out of the water. So when you're
Okay.
supposed to catch that California scorpion fish and you don't think you get it. Now, remember, once your line turns green, there's no way to let it go. I don't know if you know that or not. So you can't bring it up close and then peer over your boat and look and that's a kelp bass. Once that line turns green, the game will not let you do anything but pull it out of the water. I don't know if you know that or not.
Okay. Yes.
Now,
okay.
you could always quit the room and come back and take the time loss versus the -5 points. There's no rule against that. That's up to you. But that is a strategy.
Okay.
So just in case anybody thought of that, I want to anything goes.
Interesting.
So,
I did not think about this.
I didn't think about that either.
Well, I'm glad neither one of you were, and then I just gave a tactic away. But that is a possible tactic. Suffer the time loss versus the points loss. Oh, and I forgot. At any point on the saltwater levels, any shark except for the shark attack. So the other 2 levels, a shark is worth 1 point. If you break the line on the shark, you're going to lose a point. So. That is up to you on what you want to do on those other 2 levels when you have a shark on. You can land that shark for a point, or you can break the line and you'll lose 1 point. So that is up to you. So we'll go to each board at the end of each round. My wife's going to be keeping score for me, so I'll update the points at the end of each round. I'm not going to be able to tell you how many points you got that round. I'm just going to update your totals. And then, I will tell you when to go, and I will set my timer. When the timer goes off, if your line is in the water, finish whatever you're doing. And when that line comes in, that round is over. And then we'll move to the next round. And then let's plan on taking a 5-minute break after round 3. Okay. So we'll fish for an hour, take a 5-minute break or so. And I'm not going to start a round while you guys are gone. We'll make sure. So we'll plan for the first 3 rounds, then a break, and then the second 3. So let me get my stream set up. Yep.
One thing I have to say again, English is not my language, and it's difficult for me to speak and to fish. So Doc knows, or Scott knows, I will not talk. Sorry.
Yeah, he's only going to talk between rounds.
Yes.
So
that's fine.
And I will try to keep my chatter to a minimum as well. So, but I will be reading off scores to my wife. So let me get my stream set up, and then I'll be back and we'll get going.
Doc looks funny.
Looks funny. Yes, of course.
So my casting has stopped, so I've got to recast. So if my Facebook Live stream stops, I'm not going to stop this to get Facebook Live going again. So I'm going to get it going this time here because I've got to tell my headset to recast to my computer and then set up the Facebook Live again. If it drops during any point of this, we're just going to keep going. So give me a second. All right. All right. At least it started recasting right away. That's good. Usually, sometimes I've got to close my web browser and everything, so it relaunched my cast right away. So let me get my screen format set up. All right. So actually what we'll do is when I'll set it up so as soon as the level loads, you guys just start fishing right away, except for the level where you're going to have 5 minutes to decide what fish you want to pick to fish for, okay?
Okay.
So
And,
as soon as this, so we're going to S4
Okay.
and you are fishing for the blue tilapia, and fishing starts as soon as the level loads.
Okay.
And then I will tell you when 20 minutes is up. You might hear my timer go off. Like I said, if your line is out, you can finish, reeling whatever you have on the line or wait to get a bite or whatever. Okay.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Good luck.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, same. I haven't been here. This is not the time. Oh, what am I doing? This is not the time to admire.
So for anybody who is tuning in, this is round one, and this is just like the preliminaries. They are just targeting one fish. They are getting 1 point each for any blue tilapia they catch. Give everybody a rundown. Anyone who's tuned in from the start, round two, they're going to be fishing for the 3 epic fish on level US 18. They will get 3 points per sailfish, 3 points per rooster fish, 5 points for a sea bass. Round 3 will be on US 17. I got to turn my notifications on. That would help. Do that real quick. So 1 point for Thomas. I forgot. I don't like how the new notifications come in and move away, so I'd had them turned off. So 1 point for Thomas so far. Round 3, the shark round. They will get 1 point for a leopard shark, 3 points for a swell shark, 10 points for a blunt nose, 12 points for a mako, 15 for a great white. Each one of these rounds is 20 minutes long. Round 4, US 19, they will be fishing for the California scorpionfish, which will be 1 point per scorpionfish. But if they pull a kelp bass or a spotted sand bass out of the water, so if they catch it all the way, they will lose 5 points per fish. Round 5 will be on S3. They are going to each pick a fish that they, at their choosing. If they catch the fish they choose, they will get 1 point. If they catch their playing partner's fish, the person they're playing against, they're going to get 2 points if they catch the fish their opponent picks. Round 6 will be on USS1, and they will get 1 point per fish caught. And if they catch every fish on that board, they will, minus the epic and rare fish, if they catch every fish on the board, every regular fish, on top of the points they earned, they will get 15 points. So that's a description of each of the rounds. So right now it is 1-0 Thomas. Another 1 point for Thomas. No, go ahead. Like I said, I'm going to fish on the saltwater board so I can grab some leaderboard points. My wife is keeping score, so I'm just going to announce the scores to her. That way I can capture the action. You know, it was when I was trying to keep score in the game during those preliminaries, I spent all of my time just staring at my Google sheet in the game and, not capturing much of the action. So. Oh, yeah, I don't know why. There's another point for Thomas. I've left my GPU and CPU down now. I don't know if it's the real VR fishing updates or the Oculus update. I know I've got a new version of SideQuest as well, but when I'm recording now, my headset gets super glitchy, and when I bump up the GPU and CPU, which you would think would cause it to be less glitchy. Now I did not turn up the setting. There's a point for Lauren. I did not turn up the setting to improve the graphics of two-dimensional graphics, which I used to do, and that would cause it to be a little glitchy, which you wouldn't think so, because the two-dimensional stuff, you know, is just improving essentially the photographic graphics. So another point for Thomas. Yeah, I've not given this level a big look around yet. Yeah, because I've been doing the saltwater leaderboard, I've not spent much time. Another point for Lauren. I've not spent much time on the new levels at all. The first two, when they came out, I caught the epics and the rares, and that was it. And then I just did a little bit of research for this because I wanted to try to feature as many of these as possible on the Derby. I wanted 3 rounds of fresh, 3 rounds of salt, so I couldn't get all 4 of the new ones in. Another point for Lauren. Point for Thomas. Just now realizing we should have let our dog out before starting this. So I'll probably take a small break at the end of this round to give him a bathroom break. He's doing his outside dance. Point for Thomas. Actually, I can let him out with my headset on without my Guardian on. I think my Guardian's off. I'll know here in a second. Go outside, Smokey. I just hope there's no neighbors out with their dogs because I've got my headset on and, you know, be a whole another issue. He'll bark, which is fine, but if someone's walking a dog on the sidewalk in front of our house, he'll go out. And he's 110 pounds, so he's a big menacing looking dog. Point for Thomas. But he would never hurt anybody. Now, he would hurt another dog that came near us. He's very protective of dogs coming around us. But, you know, a dog out, you know, on the sidewalk, he'll go bark at. Generally, he won't leave the yard, though. We don't have him on a electric collar or anything, but he generally will not leave the yard. Oh, yeah. He definitely needs to be out. Point for Thomas. Good boy, Smokey. Sorry, it'll take a second for it to right me here. I think I'm back to where, no, now it's got me way away from my pole, but whatever. It'll eventually resync back up. They've gotten point for Lauren. There we go. I don't know, again, I don't know if it's the Oculus or this game. It's gotten a little more difficult to manipulate and be out of your designated zone. Like, I used to be able to get up on the roof of my lodge easily. Now, a lot of times when I try to do it, you know, I'll get just up there and then my game will freeze and then I'm suddenly back. Even though I'm like up on maybe a ladder in my house to try to get up there, it'll bonk me back down. Point for Thomas. Because what I wanted to do at one point is video or, cast these from, way up high where I'm looking kind of down, point for Lauren, where I can kind of see everybody at once from like up in the air, but it's just not plane friendly like it used to, manipulating the Guardian to do that. And then if you're too far out of your zone, it'll stop letting you use the menus and stuff. The only thing you can do is quit to your home screen and relaunch the game. So I didn't want to have to deal with that in the middle of trying to do all this. Point for Thomas. Oh, so when the pop-ups are there, point for Lauren. So when the notifications are there and your poll is through it, you can't reel. No, I turned mine off right away. So it's kind of like that glitch when you had the browser up and you couldn't reel because your laser was pointed at the browser. So similar to that, I guess. And the little screen freeze every minute glitch doesn't seem to be happening right now. Point for Thomas. I don't know if you've kept up with that, Heath. There's been an issue. It just froze right now, for me at least, a little, like, it's just 1 second, everything will freeze. But it happens, I've timed it. When it's happening, it happens exactly once a minute, like to the second. It's really weird. And other people have reported that they're seeing it in other games. I'm not seeing it, but I only play this, especially because of the leaderboard. But I do take some breaks and play Walking Dead, and I've not noticed it in that. But it is like it is to the second a minute. It's fun. It's not, a lot of people think it's just a zombie killing game. It is not. It is strategy. You've got to, collect stuff to build weapons, build supplies. It is not just a walking around killing type of game. It's got a very in-depth story. Point for Thomas. Very, very in-depth story. Point for Lauren. Okay. So when you get three notifications at once now, you can see them all. It cascades them side by side. That's neat. Normally, then that made scoring a pain. If two people caught a fish at the same time, the first notification would pop up and then immediately be overridden. So I saw those three. You guys all three had fish at the same time, and I saw them like I'm looking at three monitors. One in the middle and kind of two kind of angled out on the side, like I have a 3-monitor system. So that was nice. That's the first time I've seen that. Evidently, that Warner suckerfish shows up a lot because he seems to be pulling them out left and right. Yeah. Point for Thomas. So I know when you look at the, add your fish to your aquarium screen, it does not look like there's going to be a shark with the salt water. I'm hoping maybe that they're keeping that a secret. Point for Lauren. Point for Thomas. Yeah, I'm hoping that, maybe because it looks like the next two boards are going to be salt water. It looks like S5 and 6 look like they would have to be salt water based on the map. So I'm hoping when we get the last saltwater release, maybe there's a shark there that they're keeping secret, and that's why it's not showing up under the giant fish that you can add to your aquarium or whatever, or on the giant fish leaderboard. That's what my stream is still up. So I don't think it's going to be my Facebook stream that fails. It's going to be my cast to my browser that fails. So I'll end up streaming just the screen asking me to start my cast to my browser. Point for Thomas. I still for the life of me, I don't know why they took away the ability to stream directly from the headset. It worked perfectly. The only thing I can think of is people got confused and were streaming all the time, or streaming. I mean, I don't know if streaming takes up a ton of bandwidth, or to me that's free advertising. I don't know why they wouldn't want people streaming. Yeah. Yeah, so I accidentally post videos to my regular Facebook page sometimes. Point for Thomas. And I don't think people realize that this is a VR game. I think they think I'm just probably playing some Facebook fishing game. I don't think they realize that, this is, an all-encompassing environment that I'm in. And I'm usually not multiplayer fishing, so I think this, I might go ahead and share this out to my main page as well for people to understand. This is a virtual reality multiplayer game where you can meet up with friends and family. And I've talked to so many people who said they've reconnected with long lost family members, or just distance had gotten between them. Not that they had a bad relationship, just distance was a problem, and this creates an environment for them to to rekindle some relationships with family members to move away. Point for Thomas. Hey Siri, how much timer is left? Here. There we go. Just under 2 minutes in this round. And the Facebook commands now on here are so slow. I don't know if you guys use them or not in Oculus. Point for Thomas. Normally, if I would tell it to start recording, it would start up in about 2 seconds, or to take a photo, it would do it in about 2 seconds. Now it's like 15 seconds from the time you give your command to the video starting or the picture being taken. I don't know why it seems like they purposely built in that lag. It used to be correct. If you're trying to get an action shot or an action video, something quick, I hope they get to a point where it's like recording a video on Xbox or PlayStation. It takes more memory, but you can set it up to, when you tell it to record, point for Thomas. I've got my Xbox, when I tell it to record something, it goes back and records the previous 10 minutes and then everything forward from when I started. So that way you don't miss stuff. Now, you know, the longer you set that go back to get it, the lower frame rate and resolution you get, and the more hard drive it takes. But I think when I have mine set, I think to go back 10 minutes, but I think I still get it 10 minutes. Okay, that's it. So reel in what you got, and then we will move on. So even when I tell it to go back 10 minutes, I get, I think, 720p. If I have it go back 30 seconds, I get full 1080. All right, everyone's in. Okay, what is the cumulative scores for now?
Thomas is kicking my butt.
Thomas has 19, Lauren has 8. So again, when we load up the next level, we are gonna, you know, you're gonna start fishing. So we are going to 18, and you are fishing for the 3 epics. It is 3 points per sailfish, 3 points per rooster fish, 5 points per sea bass. So let me get my timer set up to
18
that
epics.
is.
Okay.
Yep, the epics on 18. It's sailfish, rooster, and sea bass. So as soon as the board loads, you are off and running. Here we go. Just put a 3. So it keeps track of the number. It's not working correctly. No, you need to put in a number. You need to put if you put a 1 here, it's not gonna work. No, that's not working. That's a different one. So we'll figure out when we get next one. So just start putting if you want. I agree with that.
I agree.
I wish they would feature it in 3 points for Thomas. I wish they would feature it in one of the meta commercials. So it's one of the main reasons I bought the game. I saw a Facebook. I kept seeing Facebook commercials for it. And you know, I've played a lot of other fishing games on different consoles. So I like fishing, and I fish in real life, and I enjoyed fishing games on the other consoles. And then, when I saw some Facebook ads for this, it kind of sold me on it. I was between buying an Oculus and the new Xbox. I couldn't make up my mind, and I went with the Oculus in part the commercial is for seeing this, and in part because to get the full capabilities of the new Xbox, you really also needed a new TV. A lot of people don't realize the majority of the TVs out, did not do true 4K and 120 frames per second, 120 hertz. A lot of people bought that new Xbox, and if they were playing it on their 2-year-old TV, they weren't going to get any better graphics than their old Xbox One. Honestly, they really weren't. So it was like, okay, yeah, the Xbox is $500, but then if I want a TV to do it justice, that's another at least $1,800 back then. And I've since upgraded to a top-of-the-line TV that would do the Xbox, but I hardly touched my Xbox since getting the Oculus. It really became, my Xbox really just became an entertainment center for all my streaming. I'll go back and play Call of Duty every once in a while, but other than that, I don't see myself buying another console.
This is the only game that I play on the Oculus.
It's about the only one I play. I played Resident Evil 4, which was really fun. I'll go back and play that again. I've played that start to finish 3 times. I'm on my second time around on Walking Dead, because both of those are very different depending on how you choose to go about them. Mm-hmm. So there's replay value. I play Walkabout Golf, 5 points for Lauren.
Hit by my thing.
Then I play Walkabout Golf. When I have more time, since I've got the golf club adapter, I'm going to play the 5E golf club a little bit more after I try to destroy my controller, hooking it up to a real golf club. But now I bought a new golf club adapter, and I merged that one with my old one. So I've really got, because the golf club adapter is very, very short. So it doesn't feel natural when you do a full swing. For the Walkabout Golf, it's fine, the putt-putt, but a real golf swing, it feels weird. 3 points for Thomas. But now I've got one that's about half length of a regular club, and that feels like I'm swinging a golf club, and I don't have to worry about my controller flying off and smashing into a wall again and busting into 3 pieces. I put it back together and it works. The triggers are soft. They don't bounce back like normal, but all the tracking and everything is perfect. So other than dealing with a mushy trigger, it's fine. I was surprised because that ring, that full ring on top, that broke in half. So I figured that would, pretty much destroy the tracking capability, but none of the circuit board inside broke. None of the board broke. So. I can't take a picture. This would qualify for a decent makeup for my fish of the day, for my shark of the day contest. No, I can't take a picture, but I've got it on here. 131789. I'll try to remember that. I tried playing multiplayer with some people, and they were chatty, and there were 5 of us, and it was like an hour and a half, and we hadn't finished 18 holes, and I'm too task oriented, and I don't mind chatty, but everybody should be hitting a ball at all times. is my perspective. Be ready for when it's going to be your turn, because it's not like real golf. It's not the player furthest away. You go in the same order every time. So get to your ball, start looking at what you think you're going to need to do and be ready to go when it's your turn. The hidden ones, yeah. I didn't do that. So I got the game, I guess, after they had made this change, because you used to have to find a certain amount of lost balls to unlock the hard level. When I bought the game, it had been out a long time. As long as you shot 1 under par, you unlocked hard. So the very first day I got the game, I was able to shoot under par on every.
Okay, choose high.
So you get so -1 point for Thomas. Thomas loses a point because he decided to break his shark off and not spend the time.
I didn't expect this, and so in this round it's a mistake.
Yeah, valuable time there. Yeah, so when I first got the game, I played each course once and was able to shoot. So my very first round, I was disappointed. Without ever having seen or touched the game. Now I had the golf club adapter, which makes hitting the ball straight and with consistent speed probably a whole lot easier than just having an Oculus controller in your hand with no kind of balance or weight to it. So without ever having played the game, I shot 14 under par the very first time I ever touched it. And I'm like, oh man, this is way too easy. And then I got to the space level on easy, and that was pretty challenging. So I'm like, okay, it's getting harder. And then I went back, and I don't even think I've played every course on hard, but some of those courses on hard are really hard. And there's obviously a trick shot to almost every hole, and it's, risk reward. And I tell myself, okay, I'm going to go for the trick shot one time. And then if I don't make it, I'm going to cut my losses and go the easy route. And then I never go the easy route, and then I keep going for the trick shot, and then I'm out of strokes. But it's fun, and it's another good social game. Yeah, so I'm getting is anybody else getting a little screen freeze? Did anybody just
one.
That's up to you, your choice.
Yes, of course. Oh.
This might help. Hey Theory, how much timer is left? You have 8 minutes left in this round. I don't know if that factors into your choice on what you do or not.
It looks like the fish swam away without giving you a chance.
I was playing with somebody the other night, and it's somebody who is an accomplished player, and he said he's having trouble with sharks jumping on and jumping off with a white line. And I've caught, I think, close to 2,000 sharks now, and I don't think I've ever had a shark jump off and on when my line was white. I've had it happen plenty of times when my line's red, and he swears that he is consistently getting sharks jumping off with a white line. And it's someone who knows the game, and I tend to want to trust what he says. But I've never personally experienced it. I've never had a shark jump off on a white line. That was one thing I had to get used to when I started doing the leaderboard. Was I was used to just so used to reeling in and just reeling as fast as I could. I was redlining a lot of my fish, and I was losing a lot of sharks. Yeah, because I was just redlined all the time. And then when I started doing the leaderboard, I would release my fish. I would let it run twice and cut the line. I'm like, damn it, I need those points. Because I'd never been a leaderboard fisher person before, just like I'd never been a shark fisher person. I only started catching sharks because somebody asked me to find out the sharks like certain fish more than others. That's how I came about catching sharks. Before that, all I did was just try to figure out as much about the game as possible, just anything. And then I kind of figured out all the stuff I wanted to learn, and then I started asking people for questions, and someone asked that question about sharks, and that started the whole thing that ended up with the fish buffet method. Buffet. So yeah, I'm getting that screen freeze once a minute, every minute now. Point for Thomas. Funny because I fish, this is my go-to board for leaderboard fishing on US. And I normally catch a ton of the 3 epics here with what I'm doing. Usually at least 6 an hour, so usually about 1 every 10 minutes. But I think I've caught 12 in an hour here. I've not caught 1. Is it 1 rooster for Thomas and 1 sea bass for Lauren? Is that where we're at?
That's yes.
I had 2.
You had 2 roosters. So
he
6
had
points.
2. Yes.
So 6 points this round for Thomas, 5 for Lauren. 6-5. Okay.
7 with the shark.
7-5. Yep, you're sharp. That's right. Oh, you lost a point because you cut 1 off, Thomas.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah, so it balanced out.
6,
6-5.
yes.
Good thing my wife's on top of it. The Brooklyn Nine-Nine joke in there.
I just compensated the lost shark.
Does this count?
Nope. Just the 3 epics. That'll count on the next round. That'll be worth a point on the next round. Hey Siri, how much timer? 3.5 minutes to go. I hate Wahoo.
So do I.
It is a waste of points on the leaderboard. But I've done testing where I've done an hour of timed fishing, cutting the line when I have a 12-point fish, and I found it to be about a wash. The problem being, what if you cut the line on your 12-point fish and cast again and you get another 12-point fish? If you cut your line and then cast and immediately get a 6-point or a 9-point, then it's okay. But, if you cut your line, get a 12-point, cut your line, get a 12-point, then you're in a rut and you're losing points per time. So, but I've done it both ways, catching every fish that's on my line and cutting loose the 12-point fish. And the other problem is you have to learn how to know if you've got a 12-point or a 9-point when it runs. And I'm able to tell by using the fish flash glitch. I can tell by the fish flash what fish I have on. So I can tell. And I've tried timing to see if, when they run, when you hook them, if I count, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, and I can't get anything where I think based on timing that run, if it's a 9 or a 12. But generally, with the fish I catch, when I've got when a wahoo takes it, I can recognize that flash, and when an amberjack takes it, I can recognize the amberjack flash. So until they fix that fish flash glitch, I will keep using that to help my. But like I said, I've done it both ways, and it's kind of a wash. And it's probably not worth cutting the line because, like I said, if you get in that now, when I break the line, I always reset my fish for fear of, catching that same fish. Because you might catch it in one area, but they move so far and so fast, you could cast, what seems like 40 feet away and still get that same wahoo or that same amberjack. So if I do cut the line on a 12-point fish, I do a reset. Well, this has been a kind of a boring little session here. And I still wonder if just something doesn't happen with the game a little bit when you're doing multiplayer versus playing by yourself. I don't know. I seem to have different experiences with the rate that I catch certain things. I feel like I catch more sharks when I'm by myself, but it could also be I'm concentrating more and I'm staying on my task and pattern of fishing better when I'm fishing by myself. But that shouldn't impact, us catching these epics here. 20 minutes and we'll have had 3. There's a lot of times in 20 minutes. Okay, that's it. No more casting. So
No more casting? Okay.
no more casting. So Lauren can bring in hers, and then we will move on. Lauren, you've got a leopard shark, so if you just want to break your line,
Yep.
I mean, no point in bringing it in. What if I can just hit repeat? No, I thought I could repeat and then pause.
Oh yeah. I'm really focused when I fish.
Me too.
My wife passed me a note quoting that I said I would try to keep my chatter to a minimum. All right, what's the total score? Yeah, that's probably foolish of me to have said that. What's the totals? And update the spreadsheet too, at least so people that are looking at the spreadsheet online will see it. $25-13, Thomas. So we are going to level 17. Leopard sharks are worth 1. Swell sharks are worth 3. Blunt nose are worth 10. Makos are worth 12. Great whites are worth 15. Obviously, no penalty for breaking the line on a shark because I don't think anyone's going to break their line if they've got a blunt nose Mako or great white on. So I don't think we have to worry about that.
Okay.
So fishing starts as soon as we load the level, and then it's really up to you 3 whether or not you want to break after this or not. So this will be, the halfway point after this round is over. So here we go. Best of luck.
I love this level.
I like this level. I like the fish on it. My only problem is, for leaderboard purposes, I need to see the swirls and the bubbles, and they can be really hard to see if they're over to the right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I can only fish when leaderboard fishing, I can only fish kind of right in front of me and to the left. I've stopped even trying to fish to the right. So I have had some pretty high scoring. I don't know if I've scored 600 on this board. I can score 600 on what we were just on US 18. I can get 600 points in an hour fairly consistently. And then my go-to level, which will remain a secret, which obviously is not US, I can generally score 600 points an hour almost all the time, and it's not epic fish dependent. US 18 where we just were, for me to score 600, I do need to have some decent luck with those epic fish. But I can consistently score with how I fish 18. I can consistently score about 550 an hour, which is still really good. But for me to get 600 on US 18, I do have to catch a decent bit of epics. And the other part of that is if I catch a bunch of wahoo and amberjacks, then it's it's a pain. But I'll never score less than about 550, even with, unless for some reason I caught like no epics and just a crap ton of amberjacks and wahoo. I might have seen a swell shark or caught a glimpse of a leopard shark out there. Somebody's
Leopard.
Leopard. Oh, somebody can't hear you? Oh, to your YouTube. I bet there's a way to set it up. So when I set up my Facebook Live, 1 point for Thomas. When I set up my Facebook Live, I can tell it, I think, to use my headset audio or the audio on my MacBook, or maybe even both. And I just have it set up for, people following along on my Facebook feed, I think, should hear everybody. I think. And that used to not be the case. It used to be, I think, you only heard the person who was doing the Facebook Live feed. I think now people watching it hear everybody in the game. And I even went as far as to playing around with the new color saturation filters and the colorblind filters to see if I could, play with those to see the swirls and bubbles over to the right any better. And I couldn't find a setting. So I generally only fish right in front of me and to the left. If I don't see bubbles or swirls, I just reset. So I'm only getting half a level. That's why I don't leaderboard here that much.
Okay, Remy, now can you hear me?
Usually when I fish here, I set up my guardian so I can be under the water.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so pretty.
I plugged in my mic. We'll see if that helps. Hopefully I don't have it too loud. Yay! So they can hear me now.
Are they hearing you now with your mic?
To remember that if I do this again.
How much do you pay for your YouTube account?
Pay for it? It's free.
Oh, even your streaming access, it's free. Okay. I've got one with my Google. I've never bothered to use it at
Yeah.
all. Maybe I'll start recording via YouTube somehow. Or streaming via YouTube. Another point for Thomas. That right there, chub mackerel, is leader point gold. Leaderboard gold. That comes in like a 6-point easy fish, and it was worth 9. That would be, if I could, that might be the top fish in all of saltwater leaderboarding to target. It's just not available a lot. This might be one of the only US boards you can get it on, actually. Or it might be the only, I don't know. But that's one of the reasons I did leaderboard here for a while, was that chub mackerel is available, and the way I fish this level with my bait selection, I caught it fairly frequently. I think if I had access to the whole board as far as bubbles and swirls, this would probably be my US leaderboard level, because of the chub mackerel and how fast it comes in for 9 points. I do like seeing the multiple notifications at once. That is really, really nice, especially for like derby style fishing.
So you turned it off because it follows you? Is that what you didn't like about it?
It was distracting to me, the way it comes like up out of the water and then kind of goes back, fades away, you know, really kind of slow.
Right.
I would prefer that they just pop up and kind of, you know, stick around like they do now, where you can see 3 at once. You know, I wish they would just appear, stay, but be able to do multiples. Tiny blunt nose. If they may, I wonder if blunt nose go into the 170s. Another point for Thomas.
Is your wife just sitting there at the computer on a spreadsheet, adding all the points up for you?
Yeah, well, she's. I did not explain how my spreadsheet worked clear enough. For when we get to the last round, the catch 'em all round, I had the fish listed out, and she saw blue tilapia there, so she started keeping track of just that blue tilapia in that first round. So she's just keeping score by hand now. It's 3-0 this round so far. Thomas. I think Lauren is taking trying to get a regular shark approach. Thomas has gone with trying to just keep chipping away at his lead by 1 point at a time on the leopard.
I will change it till the end.
Go for a big shark towards the end. Is that what you're going to try to do? Yeah.
Thomas, what time is it where you are?
I started at 4 p.m. So I started.
Yeah, it's about 5 o'clock. It's about 10 after 5 in Germany.
Yes. My strategy is to get a buffer with leopard sharks, and then when I'm a little bit safe, I want to fish for a big shark.
Hit my mic. Sorry. For whoever's listening.
Hey Siri, how much timer left? About 7 minutes left.
7 minutes, okay?
Yep.
That's okay.
Hopefully I didn't hit my mute button.
Thomas, how long have you been playing the game?
Since one moment.
Another clip for Thomas.
August last year.
Oh, okay.
Keith, is your son going off to college in the fall?
Yep, he is. It's community college here, so he's going to start here. So he wants to go into forensic
Does he know what he
science.
wants to do?
He wants to be a forensic scientist.
Forensic science. That sounds fun.
So he's got at least 6 years of college ahead of him.
Well, I had 6 years of college to get a 4-year degree. So it took me a while to find my way. I was not the model student growing up. Actually, I had no intention on going to college. I wanted to go into real estate. And my mom said, that's fine. You can go into real estate after you have a college degree. She actually, funny story, I did not enroll in college. She got all the paperwork, forged it all,
Oh, wow.
signed my name to it, and said, you're going to college. So I ended up graduating from Miami, Oxford, Ohio, but they had a local community branch that, because I could not get into Miami University, Oxford, Ohio, with my high school grades and transcript. I'm surprised they let me in the doors of any higher education institution. So, I piddled around that community campus for a while, and then to stay on my parents' health insurance, I had to have at least 12 hours. I had to have a full-time college schedule. And so I had 11, and I'm looking for a 1 hour course, and a lot those are few and far between. I found a course that was Intro to Elementary Education. And it was pretty much just a kind of go out and observe, teachers kind of thing. I'm like, I'm sure, I can keep up my parents, stay on my parents' insurance plan. It's whatever, no real coursework. So it sounds good to me. And, I went out and I did that. And, that's how I got into teaching. I'm like, I think I could do this and enjoy it as a living. So, and a lot of people will tell you some of the very, very worst students make some of the very, very best teachers. And, I did really well in education. Hey Siri, how much timer left? Three minutes. And again, once your line is out, you get, it's whatever you have on. So if you have a shark on when the timer goes off, you get points for that shark. So.
Yeah, he's going to do 2 years at a community college, and then KU. He wants to go to KU. And then,
that's the way to go. If you can get what you need from a community college, no reason that college is so expensive. Right. And Thomas, am I correct? And I don't want to. I know you said you're not going to talk a lot. I know a lot of Europe. What we call college, I forget. I guess you guys call it university. It's fairly inexpensive, isn't it?
I don't know. It changed sometime. Nowadays it is expensive.
It is expensive.
Years ago, it wasn't.
It was not. Okay. That's what I thought. Historically, I thought Europe, valued that upper level education so much that they made it relatively inexpensive. It is so expensive in the U.S.
I see.
I think back when I went in the 1990s, main campus was $10,000 or $12,000 a year, I think.
Oh, that's not bad.
But that was back in the 90s.
Well, yeah.
And that wasn't room and board.
Today.
That was just tuition. I commuted. That was not room and board or anything. And I've got no idea what it is now. But I went to that community college, and that I could have done the majority of my work at the community college level, their community branch, and my degree would still say Miami University, Oxford, Ohio. No one would know that I took courses at their branch campus. And I think that was maybe 30% of the cost of main campus.
So my niece is going to SFA this semester in Texas, and it's $17,000 a semester.
Holy crap. What field? Is that just general? Is that what everybody?
That is general, and then once she finishes, she's going to go into nursing.
No more casting.
Okay.
Well, that was a great round for me, guys.
Yeah.
So, Lauren, I saw your
sorry.
strategy right away, but I didn't want to say anything. You should have been doing my fish buffet method. You should have been breaking those lines. You kept reeling in those bait fish. You should have, because you weren't catching fish that were going to run. So it wouldn't have been a leopard shark. You should have, targeted one of those kelp bass or sand bass, and as soon as it ran twice, bled it off. But I couldn't tell you that mid-round, so I couldn't give you any in-game strategy. Do you guys want to take a 5-minute break?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. It is 11:20, so we'll resume in about 5 minutes, about 11:25. And I'm going to leave the board loaded on this level, and then when we load up the next round, what's the cumulative scores?
Okay.
29-13 Thomas.
Okay.
All right. So see everybody in 5
Yep.
minutes.
So I'll just keep fishing, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep fishing after I remember what the next round is. All right. The next round is the fun one. The California scorpionfish. But if they accidentally catch the kelp bass or sand bass, they lose 5 points.
Oh,
That could be a
that's gonna
game
suck.
changer. Well, one option is don't catch any fish.
Yep.
You know, they both got their headsets down, so they're away from their headsets. So I've thought about all the strategies that you could use, and that would be a strategy. Don't risk losing those points. Just hey, I'm not gonna take any fish out of the water. Or they could fish for sharks. If you catch a shark, you get a point.
Yep.
Don't risk pulling something that's not that scorpion out of the water, and don't risk losing that 5 points, because the way they fight is very, very similar. The California scorpion is very easily confused with those two fish.
As you pull it.
So we will see how they approach it. And I figured, so Thomas did what I would have done. If I had his lead going into this round, I would have targeted that leopard shark. And just, continued, risked, Laura catching, I think it's Lauren. Risked her catching a great white for 15. He had a cushion, and then just, keep, chipping away with that leopard shark. I would have done exactly what Thomas did. And if I were Lauren, I would have done exactly what she did. I would have gone after the big points, but I would have done it fish buffet style. She lost a lot of time reeling those kelp bass and spotted sand bass all the way in.
Yeah.
But like I said, I can't tell her that mid-round. I can't sway her decision making. That would be fair.
So how many more rounds do we have? 3?
Three more. One more hour. So round 4 is on level 19, catching the scorpionfish, where if they pull in the kelp bass or the scorpionfish is only worth 1 per. So the fish itself is not worth a lot of points. It's the risk of reeling in the wrong fish. You lose 5 points. Round 5 is what's round 5? I'd have to look at my sheet of paper. Round 5 is they pick a fish each. Their fish is worth 1 point if they catch their own fish. If they catch the fish their partner chooses, that's 2 points. So, that is, okay, do I pick something really easy to try to get some easy points? But then if my opponent finds it very easy as well, they're going to get 2 points per easy fish. So, again, there is strategy for each one of these. And then the last round is trying to catch every fish on the board for a bonus of 15. Or do you just say, well, I'm just going to catch a tiny fish every time. They take 6 seconds to reel in and not go for the bonus. I'm going to pull the fish finder up. I'm going to continually try to, but what if that tiny fish you're targeting is in the middle of a bunch of fish and you keep catching a 9-point fish? So it's just how, I tried to create rounds where there's, strategy and a thought process into it. But now we'll have to stop talking about thought process and strategy because Thomas is back. So
I'm back. Yes.
Oh.
yeah. I was explaining what the rest of the rounds were to Heath and then some possible strategies. So the next round we're going to be going to 19, and that's where you are targeting the scorpionfish. And if you pull the kelp bass or the spotted sand bass out, you lose 5 points. So I'll announce that to Lauren. Looks like Lauren's put her headset back on. So we've got it's about time. My wife is out of the room for a second, so we'll get going when she gets back.
Brian, can I have my blanket? Thank you.
Blanket. Must have your AC running full blast or something.
Oh, always. I'm
Oh,
in
yeah.
Texas.
If I had, when I'm out of the house, my wife turns it up to 71. If I had my druthers, we would keep the house at 65.
Wow.
We keep ours at 63 at night.
63 at night. We used to keep ours at 62, 63. And my wife's got about 4 blankets. She's got one of those big 12-pound weighted blankets. So it's not, the house itself is not as much of a necessity as the bedroom is. I've got to be cool at night or I cannot sleep. And our house is
Same.
on this, our bedroom is on the 2nd floor above the garage. Who puts the master bedroom above a garage? I don't know, because that's going to be the hottest room in the house. Or it's not above, it's kind of adjacent above. It's not directly above, but it shares part of a wall with the garage. So all right, let me get this cow shark in, and then we will be ready to go. So we are going to 19. You're going to be targeting the scorpionfish. Scorpionfish are worth 1. If you pull a kelp bass or spotted sand bass out of the water, it is worth -5. You can choose to quit multiplayer and rejoin the room rather than taking that fish out of the water. That is your choice. And take the time loss that it takes you to quit, reconnect, and resume fishing. That is your choice. That is an optional strategy. So let me get this fish in, and as soon as 19 loads, you are going after that scorpionfish.
Yeah, no problem, Rami.
Alright, let me get my timer ready. Alright, here we go. Alright. I wish this level had a better selection for my style of leaderboard fishing, the fish that tend to get on my line here, with how I fish, because there are so many landmarks to remember what I'm casting at, where I'm trying to remember where the swirls are when they've disappeared. But it's just for whatever reason, it seems like I did not catch the point generating fish that I wanted, and I was catching a lot of 12-point fish. So I do not use this for leaderboard fishing. My style, it also did not result in a lot of the epic fish either. So I did not score well breaking it down points per time period.
So, Rami, are you fishing while
You guys
watching
were-
this?
You guys were tent camping, Heath?
Yeah.
How was the temperature?
Wasn't too bad. It was in the 60s at night.
I got one.
Oh, that's nice.
Catch his.
You got a
60s
one
at
point for
night?
Thomas.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad. We were by the river.
That's not too bad.
High 60s, low 70s maybe. Now the days it was like.
If I'm going to be by,
95.
I like about. Oh goodness, that's hot.
Yeah.
I like camping. I like the nights to be like maybe high 50s, 55 to 58. But I like.
Same.
I don't want to feel hot next to the fire. I want the fire to feel kind of warm and comfortable. You know, when it's 72, 73 degrees at night, I do not like sitting
Right.
by a fire.
I'm so scared to pull this up right now. No! Oh, it is.
No,
Oh, thank
yeah,
you.
you got, you got
yes.
the right one. Yeah, 1 point for Lauren. Yeah, you're avoiding the kelp bass and the spotted sand bass.
You beautiful fish.
And then we did kayaking 3 of the 6 days we were there. I guess we were there 5 days, 6 nights.
Okay. 1 point for Thomas.
Visited a
I've never given
waterfall.
kayaking a good go. We've kayaked when we've been on like out in the ocean on some all-inclusives, but they were the kayaks that you kneel on, and I can't do that. My body does not do that form very well, and I'm flexible. It's just that my joints. And now that I've had double hip replacements, I definitely couldn't do it. Would not work. But I wouldn't mind finding like a nice sit-in, fishing kayak that I could, float down the river and fish in. Funny story, we went fishing last Monday. We were both off work and we went out canoeing and fishing. And I bought one of those little miniature poles. Which I'd always thought, because it's easy to just throw in my fishing bag and can, get out and, point for Lauren. But one thing I did not think of is when you're casting with a miniature pole, your lure is right behind your head and right behind your ear. So about third cast in, I end up with a lure in my ear.
Oh, ow.
And went to urgent care. They didn't want to take it out for fear of kind of, ripping my ear open to the outer edge of my ear, because it was embedded with a treble hook, so it's got a barb. So, and it was a tiny hook, so they couldn't force it through. And another point for Thomas. So they were like, you're gonna have to go to the ER, and I'm like, I'm not paying $1,500 for them to get this hook out of my ear. So I came home and just numbed my ear with ice. I didn't have, what I was gonna do was turn a can of compressed air upside down, so blasted it with point for Lauren. Seems like they figured it out without the distraction. And spray it upside down with that fluid that comes out of compressed air that's super cold, and numb my ear that way. I didn't have any of that, so I just numbed it with ice, and she ended up just yanking it out. And it wasn't too bad. But I've got a fairly high tolerance for pain. But so she was messing with it, and I kept telling her, I don't feel anything yet. And, she was kind of tugging at it, and I'm like, I don't feel anything. And she just finally just yanked on it and ripped it right out. But that's the second time I've been to that urgent care for a fishing lure embedded in me. I had one where I was fishing and my lure was stuck across the bank in some weeds. Another point for Thomas. And I was trying to get it out of the weeds, and it came out of there like a bullet out of a gun and hit me right in the shin. Again, very similar lure. So the lure I was fishing with both times had, a treble hook, but it had 3 hooks on it. So this one, all 3 hooks all the way into my skin, barb and all. So that there was no point. Well, no, Heath doesn't get a point.
Oh, darn.
I was gonna say point, and then I saw it was Heath.
Point for Heath.
Point for Lauren. So urgent care. they said the only way we're gonna get this out is to just yank it out. So they numbed me up, but it was on my leg, it was in my shin, so they weren't worried about damaging that. So they shot me up with lidocaine, gave me a Vicodin or something, and they pulled this thing out, and I never realized how elastic skin is. I bet before that lure popped out, they pulled my skin.
Okay.
Your choice.
I try to get it. Yes,
Okay.
it's not right here because I can get much more of the scorpionfish, but I want to have it.
Well, remember the
I
scorpionfish
appreciate
is only
that,
worth
Thomas.
one. The scorpionfish is not worth 5 points at a time. The scorpionfish is only worth one. Thomas.
I lose point with the shark. Ah, okay. Ah,
So you lose 1 point. So Thomas just lost
yeah,
1 point.
okay. And
Yeah, you don't get 5 points per scorpion.
Yes.
You get 1 point per scorpion, but minus 5 if you get a kelp or a spotted bass.
Yes.
But with that lure in my leg, they pulled that skin out. It was about 6 inches away from my bone before that lure pulled out.
Wow.
I had no idea how much your skin would stretch, and I didn't feel a thing. That lidocaine completely had numbed me to any pain. I didn't feel a thing. If I had my eyes closed, I could feel like my leg being tugged on. I could feel that force, but I had no sensation of anything going on with that lure coming out. Point for Thomas. Point for Lauren. Maybe I didn't make this route as hard as I thought.
I appreciate it.
Well, I remember I used the scorpionfish in one of the preliminary rounds, and I can't remember who was fishing for it. They struggled, and people kept bringing in the kelp bass and the spotted sand bass. That's why I chose it for this. And I thought, that'll be a good fun round for the final rounds. Have to catch the scorpion, but give a negative point value if they catch the distractor fish. But, oh well, all in good fun. So yeah, same urgent care 2 times with the lure embedded in me. Now the second time the lure wasn't in. We were able to, in the canoe, we cut everything away, so it was just the hook in my ear. And it was behind my ear, so when we went to return our canoe, they didn't see, a big leader dangling from my ear or a hook. How'd everything go? Oh, great! You got some new body art while I was out
got a new
there,
piercing.
and
You should have just left it in there.
that's what my wife said. She said you should leave it in there.
1
No,
point
thank
minus
you.
for me. Darn.
Point for Thomas. But I gambled. I think because I'm accident prone. I think I've had a tetanus shot in the past 10 years. Point for Lauren. I know I have. They would have given me a tetanus shot with that burn I had on my hand. So I have had one in 10 years. I forgot about that. They definitely would have given me a tetanus shot when I was at the burn clinic. Hey Siri, how much timer's left? About 8 minutes.
Yeah, I recorded a bunch of 360 video. I got an Insta360 camera, so hopefully I can get some of that posted.
Neat.
It'd be fun to watch in the headset.
Now, is that something that attaches to your camera and has like a bunch of mini cameras, or do you do like a point for Thomas, or do you like shoot panoramic and it creates a 360 video for you? Point for Lauren.
So it's basically it's like a little cube that's got a camera on the front and back, and it's wide enough angle that it gets all the way 360
Oh,
degrees.
okay.
the Insta360 1X2.
Okay. I know, and I don't think it ever took off. I remember they had this ball that you could buy, and it had like 15 cameras on it. And you could like mount it on a pole,
Yeah.
or like throw it up in the air to get video, or various things that people would do to get 360 video. So now you can get 360 video with just a 2-camera system. That's
Yep.
neat. So I guess it's got 180 degrees on each camera, obviously. Or you would think maybe 190, give you some overlap and then render the video properly. Probably what it does, would be my guess.
And you put it on a
Point for
selfie
Thomas.
stick, and the selfie stick actually disappears. Which is
Oh,
pretty cool.
neat.
Yeah. So it's just
Pretty good tech.
pretty neat. I like it. We took it to Disney. I got a couple of rides on it with it. And
That'd be neat to see in the headset.
Yeah.
Is it full 1080?
Yeah, so it's 5K, but that's
wow.
5K at 360 degrees, which is about a 1080
Okay.
video.
That's still pretty good. No, not pretty good. That's really good.
And it does better outside than it does, like I did some of the rides were indoors.
Point for Lauren. Oh, monkey face for me.
And they're a little grainy, of course, when you're indoors. But
That would probably be really good. I don't know how Wander works with, using user uploaded stuff. But that would probably be really good to do some stuff on Wander. Like we use Wander. We're going to Florida in October, and we're going to stay at a new place. And someone else had stayed there, and however they filmed the inside of that place, it got uploaded into Wander. So we were able actually to go and virtually see the condo from the inside of where we're going to be staying.
Oh, that's
So that was really neat.
I need to check out that Wander.
Point for Thomas. It's really neat, and it'll go back in time if they've got old photos and stuff. It's really neat. We were able to go in to some of the restaurants that we frequent. We used to go to Bourbon Street every year for New Year's until COVID shut everything down. So we can go wander around Bourbon Street and see all the places that we're used to going there. And like I said, it's Google Earth and Google Street that creates the majority of it. But then users can upload footage. I guess anything that a user uploads to Google Earth, Google Street, Wander pulls in as well.
Oh, okay.
So that's how you're able to go inside places. So, you can go inside the Notre Dame Cathedral because they've got all the user uploaded footage and do a virtual tour of stuff like that. It's really neat. Point for Lauren.
Maybe I'll upload my waterfall pictures and stuff to Google.
So
now.
essentially, the main portion of it, what you're doing is seeing. Point for Thomas. You're seeing footage from the Google Earth car or the Google Street car is what you see, because you'll see it in the shadows of your pictures, and some of it you can teleport around. Some of it you have to click like on an arrow to move forward, left, right. And then you could do time hop where, show me what this looked like in 2011. They'll tell you what dates you have available and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
And I think how far you can go back in time just depends on, what content they have available. It takes a little bit to get to learn the navigation. But, just using it for something like what my wife and I just did for our Florida trip coming up was really, really nice. And we could get it because we were looking at another place that we weren't familiar with, and we were able to get a sense of just how far it really is from there to being at the beach. And it ended up being on paper, the point for Thomas, on paper it sounded good, but when we loaded it on Wander, we were like, no, that's just too far, because we want something that we can walk to. We don't want to have to drive.
Right.
And we found this place that is essentially, we walk out and we are touching the sand of the beach.
Nice.
So it's just walking to the water. So point for Lauren. I think it's only $15 or even $20, but it's going to come in handy. And, you know, obviously, you know, this once it catches on more, I'm sure there are real estate companies who are using it now. But, you know, they're going to have, you know, Oculus headsets in their offices before they take someone out to see a house. They're going to let them, you know, see it in VR first. You know, I bet a lot of people could eliminate driving to see a house on the inside based on seeing it in an Oculus headset and being able to teleport around and see the rooms in kind of real, you know, it's not real space in actual sense, but you can get a better idea of a space in VR than you can from even seeing the panoramic videos on a two-dimensional screen. You can kind of get definitely a feel. Point for Lauren. Point for Thomas.
-1 for Doc.
But I think this will definitely take off for the real estate companies once VR becomes a little more mainstream. I saw the first prototype pictures of the Apple VR. I don't know if everyone's seen that.
I've seen those.
Isn't it incredibly expensive?
Oh, of course.
It's Apple. I've not seen a price point, but I'm willing to bet it's not going to be cheap. But you know, it really looks like a pair of big blue blocker sunglasses size right now. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know if it's an all-in-one or if it's going to be. If you're going to have to be tethered to a processor or not. I've not read all the specs. But
I think it's going to be about $1,000 is what I last seen.
But if it's going to be $1,000 and it's standalone and it's 4K, I would pay that.
Yeah.
Especially, and I love Apple products. Point for Thomas. Point for Lauren. I would pay $1,000. Now, the other aspect of it is, though, are they going to put something out? Okay, that's time.
Okay.
So both their lines are in, so fishing is done. My wife tally up the scores here. But no, $1,000 for a standalone, if it's got a decent sized hard drive. You know, the driving aspect is going to be, what kind of games are going to be available?
Right.
Are the games that are currently available for Oculus, are you going to be able to just go download those and not pay for them again? You know, there's a lot of questions to be answered. But Randall, a guy I fish with a lot, and he's bait slinger on here, Mr. Bait Slinger, I believe. He just read an article that I don't think Meta put the article out, but it was about Meta and their R&D, and he said that they're, you know, cash strapped. He said right now they said that there is no R&D for their next gaming headset. He said as it stands, because they essentially sold the Quest 2 at cost. Just to saturate the market, which is smart. You know, until the Quest 2 came out, you know, VR was expensive. You know, you had whatever the Rift S would cost, and then, you know, at least $2,000 for a machine to run it properly. And then, so, you know, they were willing to essentially give away the Quest 2 just to get, you know, and that sold exponentially. I can't remember. He told me the figure. Something like they sold 10 million headsets that first year. But again, they weren't making money. It was just getting it out there. So, you got the scores? All right. 42-25 total. It was 13-12 that round. So, all right, we are going to.
That's a close round.
I see the notepad here. Next round is the one where you are going to get 5 minutes to study the fish board and pick your fish, and you get 1 point if you catch your own fish. If your opponent catches your fish, they get 2 points. And we are going to. I need my glasses. I think it was S3. And I wonder what the S stands for. Yes, S3.
Yeah, I was wondering what
So
that
we
was.
will
too.
go there. So we're going to go there, and I will give you 5 minutes to make your fish selection.
S3.
S3,
Okay.
which is Diamond Lake, Oregon.
All right. It's the first time I've seen it.
Same here.
So study the fish board. You've got 5 minutes. It is 11:51. So we will, we'll start in approximately 5 minutes. So study the fish board. Remember, you get 1 point if you catch your own fish. You get 2 points if you catch your opponent's fish, and you get no points for any other fish.
And I can choose from every fish.
Every fish. You could pick an epic fish. You could pick a rare fish. Any fish.
Okay. And
So-
I have to say it loud here.
Yes,
Because,
you have to say yeah. So your opponent knows if she wants to
That's
try
the
to catch
problem.
your fish for 2 points, she
Who
has to
tells
know what it is.
first has a problem. Then I tell mine the second. Ladies first.
How about this? You guys choose, and here's another problem. So you could just say, if you've not caught the epic fish yet, you could just say, I'm catching the epic fish, because I don't know what the epic fish is myself, because mine's blacked out. And then I've got
Same.
another blacked out fish on the bottom right corner. I can try here. Let me try while you guys are choosing. Let me see if I can't figure out what this fish is on the bottom right on this first one. It likes the minnow, and it likes the dough ball.
Do you want me
So
to tell
I'll
you
try.
what it is?
Oh, you know what it is? Yeah.
It's the mountain whitefish.
Mountain whitefish, Thomas, is bottom right on the first page.
Mountain whitefish.
And
Okay.
then the epic, I don't know what that is.
I don't-
say,
yeah.
I say
Okay.
the rainbow trout.
Is going to be your fish?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good
He has picked the rainbow trout. And Lauren, you have a couple more minutes to make your pick.
Tell you what the epic is here in a minute.
So
Catch it real quick.
the next round
One
is
moment.
gonna be fish specific.
She said she said the mountain whitefish.
I think I'm going to do the tench.
The tench. Okay.
Ugh.
So tench is worth 1 for Lauren, 2 for Thomas. The rainbow trout is worth 1 for Thomas, 2 for Lauren. Well,
Oh,
then
it's a tiger.
Tiger trout.
That was what?
tiger trout.
I told you I was going to tell you what it
Does
was.
that change anybody?
it
Does that
started-
change anybody's mind now that we know what that fish is? Does anybody want to choose a different fish?
I'm not going to tell you how
I
I
do
caught
not.
it that fast.
Okay. Okay. So Thomas's fish is the rainbow trout. Lauren's fish is the tench. Let me get my timer ready, and I will say ready, set, go in a second. All right, here we go. Ready, set, go. And I think I'm going to play around and try to catch the epic fish, because it doesn't matter what I catch, because it's not salt water. I think I know how I would go about it.
Yep.
Oh, it's hard to see bubbles and swirls on this board. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Do you think they do that on purpose?
I don't know what I wish what they would do on these highly reflective levels like this. I wish they would make the bubbles and swirls a little easier to see. Not reduce the glare. I mean, the glare is what it is, right? I mean, that's how. So Thomas just got 2 points for catching Lauren's fish. I don't think they should detract for what the level looks like in the real world, but what they could do is do something to make the bubbles and swirls look a little easier to see. which I guess is really, the bubbles and swirls are nice, but for someone who is strategic on the leaderboard, they're instrumental in leaderboard fishing. All right, Heath is cheating now, catching the epic fish. Maybe I'm going to switch up my strategy since I'm having trouble seeing these swirls and bubbles. And like I said, I've played around with all the color changing you can do, the night shift, and on these high glare levels, I caught the one new fish, the mountain whitefish. All right, so Thomas just got 2 more. Lauren got 2. Looks like they're targeting each other's fish for the bonus points. It looks like that is their strategy.
Nope.
And the other thing I've not, and Heath, if he thinks he's got a definitive answer for this, feel free to answer it because they'll both hear it at the same time. Heath, have you made a determination if you think midwater fish are consistently displaying bubbles, swirls, or neither? I'll tell you what I think, but I don't have sound evidence. I think midwater fish show swirls.
The swirls?
Is where I lean, but I cannot say that definitively. I don't think they do bubbles. I think they're either swirls or nothing. Do you have a thought?
Well, so far I've caught both of these on nothing. So,
On nothing,
Yeah.
just casting out?
Yep.
Okay. Like I
Casting
said,
in the
I
blank
cannot say
spots.
one way or another. 2 points for Thomas. What was the size on yours? Was that a medium fish?
Yes.
The epic?
Yep.
Yeah. It didn't run when you hooked it.
Nope. Didn't run.
Yeah, I thought it was like
just
14
swam.
inches or something. Just swam. 2 points for Lauren. Well, we can talk potential strategy since they've already picked their fish.
It's a lighter up front. Cool.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if it's available. One, depending on your 2 points for Thomas, depending on a lead, okay, it's not even available. You know, if Thomas had a good lead, you know, a good fish might have been the pup fish if it were here to take away, you know, any strategy really for Lauren to get 2 points at a time. But it's not available here. Like I said, I tried to think of, you know, round setup that would really lend to some, you know, critical thinking strategy on, you know, what you pick or don't pick. So I think I'm going to switch to the Whopper Plopper on top for this epic. Is that what you're doing, Heath?
Mm-mm.
Nope. You're going middle with
Middle
the soft bait?
Yep. Middle grasshopper.
Oh, you're float fishing.
Yep.
2 points for Lauren. You know, that's what I was doing, but you're just casting out and catching what you
I'm
catch.
casting into the blank spots, so no swirls.
You're casting, so you are casting away from 2 points for Thomas. You're casting away from bubbles and swirls, figuring there is a fish there. There might be fish there, and I guess if you don't get an instant bite, you're just moving it because it should turn green or it should turn red right away.
Yep.
That's a good, yeah.
This
Good
one's coming in
strategy.
quick. That's a tiny something. California roach.
I never thought of that as a strategy for middle water only fish. If they don't display anything, cast away from bubbles and swirls, and if you're within the vicinity, you would get a bite, you would get the red line right away because it's a preferred bait. There it is.
You got it.
I got it. Doing exactly what Heath was doing. I avoided the bubbles and swirls, and if I did not get a bite right away, you know, I reel it in for about 3 seconds, and if I don't get a bite, reel it in. Because if you're within the range on a preferred bait, you will get a bite instantly. You'll get a red line instantly. That is a good strategy, Heath. 2 points for Thomas. Points for Lauren. So, another tiger trout for me.
I usually try to catch about 15 before I make a video on it.
Make sure you know that it's gonna
Make sure I got the technique down.
stand the test. Yeah. Well, I can't think of a better way. You know, you could do one of the lures on top. I'll do that. I'll do the soft bait on top because it's so easy to keep on top. Because it's still going to be preferred bait. You're going to be 1 water away, which means about 2.5 seconds for your line to change colors. 2 points for Thomas. So yeah, I'm gonna switch to lure. Well, actually, no, I'm not even gonna do the. I'll do the plopper. Is what I'm gonna do.
I find that interesting that
'Cause
they
so
do a
as
top
long as-
lure for a middle fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can. If you tug it down, you can get it down there briefly.
Can you?
Yep. If you give a good jerk downwards, it'll trigger a bite from a middle water fish. What's it was the plopper, right?
Let's go after this swirl and see if your swirl theory is.
Plopper.
Oh, it's kind of a large swirl. So I did have a comment on one of my videos
Yeah, like-
that it was one of my middle fish that reeling in across the top wasn't working anymore. And so I tested it out, and I couldn't get that thing to bite for nothing. And then I'd let it go down to the middle, and I'd catch it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they.
So I
changed.
think I think they did some adjusting. 2 points for Thomas, because before 2 updates ago, I was catching on 2 points for Lauren. I was catching
that was a swirl.
the giant sand bass on top religiously. I was catching all 3 of the epics. And that's why I started fishing on US 18 for my US leaderboarding, because, you know, I was catching all 3 epics with, you know, the bait I was using to catch my other fish, which was a lure on top. And it's not hard to figure out if you go back and look at US 18 what lure you should be using on top. My strategy should not be very difficult to figure out. But I was catching the giant sea bass on top too. I'm like, well, that's supposed to be bottom middle only. Why am I catching it on top? And then with the update, 2 points for Thomas. With the update, when they released S1 and S2, I stopped catching that sand bass. I keep calling it sand bass. I'm used to saying sand bass so much. I stopped catching the giant sea bass at all, to the point where I put a poll up. I said, people who regularly fish US 18, are you not catching the giant sea bass as much? And what I think they did is I think they went through and reviewed what depths they showed in the Fishopedia and made sure the fish were only available at those depths. And I'm guessing that giant sea bass was available at top as well. And then they adjusted that to make it middle bottom only. Which would be, if it was at middle, you'll still catch it on top, but not at the rate that I was catching it. I was catching it like it was a top water fish. Two points for Thomas. having any luck with this plopper yet.
Never do.
2 points for Lauren. I do if I'm casting at a swirl. But I'm just, reeling it, letting it sit for 2 seconds because this fish is middle water only, so I don't have to worry about it being on bottom. So if I let it sit for 2 seconds and it's at middle, I should get a red line indicator in about 2 seconds. That's the other thing I've done is, I've timed out 2 points for Thomas. I've timed out, if I'm 1 water level away and it's yellow, I know that's about, 7 seconds for my line to turn red. I've got the timing down on, if I'm yellow at the correct water level, it's about 4 seconds. If I'm green, if my fish would be green for the bait and I'm 1 water level away, it's about 2.5 seconds. That's how I'm able to target fish and just move on to make sure I don't catch a fish. It's more strategic and useful in freshwater, because freshwater you really want the 6-point fish. That's the only fish you really want to catch. If you're doing freshwater leaderboard, you don't want, because 2 points for Thomas. All of the 9-point fish, I think, on 2 points for Lauren. All of the 9-point fish, I think, on freshwater run every time you hook them. There aren't any like the chub mackerel or the California corbina that are worth 9, but you don't have to wait that 4 or 5 seconds for that initial run. So you do not want to catch any of the 9-point fish if you're doing freshwater leaderboard. You want to avoid those like the plague.
So I caught that last one at bubbles, but it could have been something that was next to another fish that was bubbles.
Yeah. I wish you could see the bubbles and swirls and underwater fish. That might make it a little easier to try to do some of this research. 2 points for Thomas. You used to be able to see the bubbles because they had a graphic at the bottom. It would show the bubbles at the bottom of the water as well. So when you would underwater fish and there were bubbles on the bottom of the water. And they'd fix that with an update at some point. Yeah, I'm having no luck with this plopper and this epic fish on top. I don't know if I'm just missing or if it's coded wrong. It was the plopper, right?
Mm-hmm. Whopper plopper.
Tiger trout, middle only, whopper plopper. Yeah, I'm getting nothing. And maybe I'm just missing. Maybe I've not come across one. Hey Siri, how much timer is left? 5 minutes. So I'm gonna go back to float with the grasshopper. 2 points for Thomas. Two points for Lauren.
It's a huge rainbow trout.
Nice. Been trying to deplete my bait C. So that's what I just
Yeah, I wish I had known
Yeah.
before buying a whole bunch of C level and B level stuff. Okay, so this thing, this thing looked huge coming in, and it's 14 inches. I think this is another one of those fish that they're having problems with. You know, this I would think would be like a 2 points for Thomas. Looking at this thing, and he moves around a lot on the line. This is funny. I would have thought this would have been, you know, a small rainbow trout. And it's a 14-inch tiger trout. I know they're continuing to have some problems with their fish size displays when you get them out of the water. To me, that should have looked more like an Apache trout size. And it looked like a rainbow trout size. Two points for Lauren. I don't think they would ever go back and make this change, but I was really kind of shocked with the great white, especially when I started filming sharks from underwater. I really would have thought that they would have had that great white breach, 2 points for Thomas, when it takes your fish, because they've already got the graphic of what the great white jump was. So, I mean, I wouldn't think it would be, and, you know, maybe it would be a lot harder than it sounds in my head. Would be to just have that jump graphic when the great white takes the fish off the line. I think that would be really, really neat. But I don't know if they would update that in
That'd be cool.
the future.
Have it look like when they come out to take a seal, jumping out of the water. That'd be cool.
That would get people jumping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know, depending on, you know, if I'm kind of zoned out or haven't caught a shark in a while, 2 points for Thomas. Sometimes it'll startle me when I get a shark.
Right.
It's been a while.
Yeah. I still jump sometimes.
And I know there was some talk about 2 points for Warren of them bringing on an additional employee, and maybe that's after the creation of Dev United Games. An events type person, I think. You know, not someone to replace 2 points for Thomas. Daniel's position is community manager, but to kind of do some of the things like I'm doing with the fish of the day and the shark of the day, I think they're going to have somebody who's going to be running some events through the main page. It's going to be pretty nice. All right, that is time. So whatever you got in, get in. All right, you guys are both in. Let's get the tally. 22-16 for the round. 64-41 total. Alright. So we are going to S1 for the last round. You get 1 point per fish. And if you catch every fish minus the epic and rare, you get an additional 15 points. So you can keep your score like you've normally been doing, but just okay. But you need to mark off each fish they catch at least one time. I need to know. Okay. Because if they get the bonus, I need to know who's caught each one. The ones in red don't count, but still tally it. So let me put my glasses on. So you can delete words. Though I mean they're not going to catch it.
Okie dokie.
I think I know what each player's strategy is going to be for this round. Let's see how.
I'm praying.
Your strategy is to pray. It's a good strategy.
Prayer is a strategy. that is a useful strategy. I've caught here. I think I've caught all the fish. Take California roach for Thomas. Actually, I'm not going to fish. I'm just going to monitor and track everything. Brook trout for Lauren.
Yeah, I'll just watch. That way I don't mess up your counting.
Yeah, so I'll accidentally call out something I just see pop up.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it's yours,
Yeah, I thought about doing one of these in the fall when I got a little bit more time. Maybe offer up some t-shirts for the top 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
Be kind of cool.
Brook trout for Lauren.
Down, do the fish count double?
No.
If I catch 5 brook
You
trout?
no, yeah. You get a point for every fish you catch. So yes, you will get if you catch 5 brook trout, a tench for Lauren. If you catch 5 brook trout, that is worth 5 points. You get a point for every fish you catch. It's not like once you check it off, you can't continue getting points. Every fish you pull in is worth a point.
Then
So if you only catch brook trouts and you catch 15 brook trouts, you're going to get 15 points.
okay, then I have to change my strategy.
Okay.
I misunderstood that.
Yes, every fish you catch, regardless of how many times you catch it, you get a point. It's not like once you cross it off the list, it's not worth points anymore. So yeah, that was a good question to ask. Because I can see how that could impact your strategy.
Of course.
Blue tilapia for Thomas. Cutthroat trout for Lauren. Tilapia for Thomas. I understand Thomas's strategy now. Blue tilapia for Lauren.
It's not science to choose it from 2 tries.
Right.
Understand the strategy.
So yeah, yes, Thomas. Well, it's obvious he's going to catch as many small fish as he can. It's easy just to get his, just keep points. Where he knows Lauren is dependent on having to try to catch every fish for that 15-point bonus.
True story.
Green sunfish for Thomas. That's exactly what I would have done if I were Thomas or anyone who had green sunfish for Lauren. If you had at least a 10 to 15 point lead, you have to do what Thomas is doing. It just makes good sense. And if you're behind, you would pretty much have to do what Lauren is doing, trying to catch every fish and then get the bonus.
Mm-hmm.
I think minus the first round, it would have been really, really close all the way through. So it started with blue tilapia and kind of ends with blue tilapia. Point, another blue tilapia for Lauren. Cutthroat trout for Thomas. Yeah, I had asked Mark a while ago, back when it was still Mirage Soft and still sold his company, if for my derbies and stuff, if he cared if I used, Mirage Soft and Real VR Fishing on some shirts to give away as surprises, and he said that would be fine with him if I wanted to, have some shirts made. Blue tilapia for Thomas, but now that Devs United Games, I don't know. I don't think they would have a problem with me using Real VR Fishing, but whomever is at the, owns Devs United, I don't know if they would allow me to use Devs United Games, but it sounds like they've got some things planned, and hopefully rainbow trout for Lloyd, and hopefully they're able to do awesome contests and stuff like that. More people have been, starting to catch on. We're getting more and more people competing on my Shark of the Day and Fish of the Day contests. It's a good time. Blue tilapia for Thomas.
Whenever they get their PvP update done, I think that'll help quite a bit.
And that would make running stuff like this a whole lot easier
Yeah.
as well. We can just say, here are the rounds. Here's the format. You were going to fish with your group, and you guys are going to self-report. It wouldn't need me to monitor the game.
Mm-hmm.
They would, and then one would be green sunfish for Lauren. Hopefully everyone would agree on outcomes. Or, if there's a final score sheet, that would be perfect. Send me California Roach from Thomas. Send me a picture of the score sheet at the end of this match. Like Call of Duty and stuff, you see exactly how many points everybody catches. I don't know, get like a scorecard that tallies how many of each fish you caught.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited.
Be cool.
To see this PvP. Trout for Lauren. Tench for Thomas.
And so I had contacted the guy that makes the controller adapter for Real VR Fishing, and because I was going to do a review on his adapter thing, and he said he was going to send me one, and I never did get it.
Is that Ty? Did he do it?
I don't remember. I think his name might have been Ty. Yeah.
Ty Purdy.
Yeah. Yeah. And he said he had a red one that he was going to send me because nobody ever orders red. But that was a couple months ago. I never did get it. I was going to use that as a as a prize.
He's busy. Just reach back out to him. I've had some
I have.
discussions with him. He's a real nice guy.
I've messaged him a couple times.
Fish for Warren. And I didn't even catch it. My wife caught it. His name is not Ty Hurd. He's saying he's tired.
Oh, from
His name is not Ty Hurd.
from 3D printing those.
He's tired.
Yeah.
At least I think my wife is right when she figured that out. I think that's what he's saying. Because under his name, it's I guess you could add a how is my name pronounced, and his name is pronounced Tired.
It's either that or it got lost in the mail, which could happen, or it could be stolen. I mean, I get stuff stolen off my porch sometimes.
Red ear sunfish for If it is coincidence, it's still fun.
Yeah.
You coming up?
I find a lot of little words like person who names a race horse
Oh.
because horses have hooves, so looking at it, oh, it's farted. When you say it enough, who farted is what it sounds like. Tilapia for Thomas. There's some funny horse names out there. I didn't realize that until I started playing a virtual reality horse racing game competitively, that race horses are limited to 17 characters for their names. At least they used to be. And I space, I believe it's 8 characters. Hey Siri, how much timer is left? 7 minutes. Rainbow trout for Lauren, blue tilapia for Thomas. I remember I was trying to set my timer when I do my time sessions for my leaderboard check. I don't time all of my sessions, but when I want to get an idea on a new level or something. I remember I was trying to set a timer one time for like 5 minutes before taking my headset off to pick up my phone. But instead of saying, hey Siri, I was saying, hey Facebook, because I was so used to talking to my Oculus. And I'm like, what in the world is wrong with my phone? I'm just trying to set a timer, and I realized I was saying, hey Facebook to my phone when I needed to be saying, hey Siri.
This is the final round, isn't it?
This is it.
Yeah.
Catch for Lauren. I don't think Lauren has caught a white crappie yet. Either one has caught a white crappie. Or prickly sculpin. Or pumpkin seed. Tilapia for Thomas. Yeah, I wish I could do some prizes for the Fish of the Day and Shark of the Day contest. But I'm not going to throw you on it.
Right.
I'm not going to pay out of my pocket. And I reached out to Mirage Soft when I was doing Derby before, and they helped out blue tilapia for Thomas. He said he needs some extra Mirage Soft gear, which I don't have any of the Mirage Soft gear, but I've been giving it over time. I've given it all away to other players. They said they couldn't keep up. But if you think about shipping from South Korea to here, it can't be cheap.
Right.
I don't want to do like a GoFundMe and say, hey, anyone who wants to donate for Fish of the Day stuff, and I'll get some t-shirts together. I don't want people to think or speculate that I'm trying to make money off of it. So I thought about doing it, blue tilapia for Thomas, but I just figured just keep it, doing it for fun. Prickly sculpin for Lauren, and once you start adding prizes, then you have people speculating that other people might be cheating or whatever, posting old photos and stuff like that. So as long as it's just for fun, you can't get too many arguments. But we're having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
The sharks, I'm doing a monthly tracker as well, see if catches as big as the shark each month. So I've got like the shark. And we did have somebody get a #1 on the leaderboard on one of the freshwater fish. Fish of the day.
Cool.
That was one thing I was waiting for as well. Hopefully, if someone doing my fish of the day or shark of the day would get a #1. Tilapia for hummus. Keith, you were into Star Wars or not?
Yes, very much so.
Have you watched all the Obi-Wans?
Yep. We missed this week's because we during camping, so I haven't seen this week's yet.
Okay, so all right, so I can't talk to you about it.
Yeah, no spoilers. But we did keep up into this week. We'll probably watch that tonight.
I hope they have another round, but when I read about it, they said it was going to be, the original plan was a one-shot, 6-episode ordeal. So we'll see if they do anything else. What I don't know is blue tilapia for Thomas. I don't know in A New Hope how old Luke is supposed to be. So they're supposed to be 10 years old in Obi-Wan. So if Luke is, what do you think, maybe 18? Because he talks about, going
Yeah.
to the academy.
17 or 18.
For Warren. So figure he's 17 or 18. So they don't have a lot of storyline kind of in between as far as to feature Luke and Leia. Obviously, this was heavy Leia featured. And there's something I want to talk to people about, but I can't talk about it with you until you've seen the last episode. Some gaps that can still be filled in. And one question that I want to know, and I can't talk to you about it. Is spoiler of what may or may not be in your last episode. Blue tilapia for Thomas. But something went unaddressed that I thought was going to be addressed for me. And one of the, and this isn't a spoiler or not, one of the big speculations I've read, people were speculating how they're going to resolve Leia, pumpkin seed for Warren. One of the big internet speculations was resolving how Leia gets the information into R2 to Obi-Wan, but I mean that was resolved in Rogue One, pumpkin seed for Thomas. So I don't know what all that unless I don't understand what people were trying to speculate. They show at the end of Rogue One Leia putting in the chip in the R2.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what people are on about. How are they gonna, resolve that issue? Maybe I need to read more what people are on about that. I'm bad at just reading headlines in the first, 15 words of an article, and then if it doesn't answer my question, I stop reading.
Yeah.
Too long didn't read. I'm the epitome of it. I don't give it very long, unfortunately. Pumpkin seed for Thomas. Gotta be in the closing minutes. Hey Siri, how much timer is left? California roach for Warren. 1 minute.
Ooh.
Lauren, I think you need a great white shark. I think that's where you are at this point. I think you need the 15-pointer. It's a good time. I wish I had a second place prize. Maybe I'll figure out something. I'm just forwarding on the $50 I won from the blue tilapia for hummus. Yeah, if you could have caught a shark on 17, that could have really closed the gap too.
Mm-hmm.
I think you made the right call going for the shark on that. Like I said, I would have just done the fish buffet method, and once you knew it wasn't a shark, I would have broken the line. No one's caught the white crappie. No one's caught the no, yellow crappie, but she doesn't need that. So she needed the brown trout, the burbot, and the white crappie. You needed 3 more to get the 15.
Oh, that was close.
Crappie, the brown trout, and the burbot. So what is the final tally? 88.61. So that would have given you an extra 18, which still would not have gotten you there. But I mean, 88.61 still a good competition, not a railroading. And like I said, I think it came down to a lot was the points in that first round put you in the position of having to go for the shark in the third round. And then, Thomas was able to chip away with the leopard sharks to extend his lead. But I think he made the right call with the leopard shark approach, and I think you made the right call going for the sharks. Because if you would have caught 2 blood nose, that would have been 20, and this would have been, down to the wire. So I think you made the right choice. So thank you both, and thank you, Heath, for helping
Yeah.
out. And Thomas, I don't know how to do, since we have U.S. dollars and you obviously do not. Can we Venmo you the $50?
I think with PayPal it's possible.
PayPal. We have PayPal, so I will get with you through Messenger and get your PayPal information.
Yes.
Because that's how they gave me the $50, so I can just send it right to you. That's perfect.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll catch up with you. I've got some family stuff to take care of, so I will get with you after I deal with my family stuff today. Okay, Thomas?
Okay. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good Sunday. Enjoy your time.
Bye.
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 Bye, Thomas.
Bye, Lauren.
Bye.
Bye.
And bye, Eve.
Bye bye. Well, there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed that stream. I don't know how many of you watched, but I had fun. And it was a fun competition. Too bad I didn't win it, but thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.